In this exam application tutorial, we're looking at relative atomic mass and isotopes. The question for 3 marks, 20% of atoms in a sample of an element have a mass of 32. The remaining atoms have a mass of 30. Calculate the relative atomic mass of this element. So what you need to work out is what's the abundance of each isotope, in other words, how much is there of each, and what's the average mass of the isotopes when taking their abundance into account. So if it's a percentage, you might as well just assume you have 100 particles. So 20 of those 100 have a mass of 32, and 80, remaining 80, so 80% left, 80 have a mass of 30. So what is the relative atomic mass? Well, let's assume for a second we had 50-50 split. So we had 50 particles which are 30 and 50 particles with a mass of 32. The average would obviously be 31 in the middle. But we have to take the abundance into account. We have 80 particles which are 30 mass, and we have 20 particles with a mass of 32. So the actual average will be skewed towards 30. So the answer must be in between 30 and 31. So this is a good way to check your answer. If it's not in between 30 and 31, let's say around 30.5, you've done something wrong. So this is what I'm thinking in my head. 20% of the atoms have a mass of 32, so 20 atoms in every 100 have a mass of 32. This means that 80% have a mass of 30, so 80 atoms in every 100 have a mass of 30. You wouldn't need to write this down, I'm just showing you what I'm thinking right now. This is what you'd have to write down, the calculation. They ask you to calculate things in an exam, and sometimes, recently they've started putting lines in for you to write stuff in. Don't get confused. If it's a calculation, you might as well act as if those lines aren't there, and you're basically being asked to do a mathematical equation. So don't get thrown by the calculation thing followed by written lines. You don't have to write an answer. You have to perform a calculation if it says calculation. So what I have to do is multiply the abundance by the mass for each. So 20 times 32 plus 80 times 30. And that has to be divided by the number of particles. So I had 20 particles and 80 particles, which gives us 100. And if you do that, you'll get 30.4. You're just finding an average, that's all.